Today, I am going to tell you a story that will surprise you. This is a story about an American pilot who refused to fly the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré. What happened next shocked everyone at the airbase. This story is full of action, mystery, and lessons you will never forget. So listen carefully, because you will not want to miss a single moment. It was early morning at a busy airbase in Burkina Faso. The sun was just rising, and the air was cool. Soldiers were everywhere, moving quickly, checking their guns, and talking in low voices. Everyone was nervous. Today was a special day. President Ibrahim Traoré was coming to the base. He was young, smart, and brave. He was loved by many people in his country. He had a secret mission, and only a few people knew where he was going. The Americans were helping with the mission. They sent their best pilot, Captain John Miller, to fly the president. Captain Miller was known for his skills, but also for his pride. He liked to show that he was in control. He did not always respect the local soldiers. He sometimes made jokes about the way things were done in Africa. Some people at the base did not trust him, but he was the only one who could fly the special plane for the mission. When Captain Miller woke up that morning, he was not worried about the flight. He was thinking about his orders. The night before, he had received a secret message from his commander. The message said, "Do not let the president reach his destination. Delay the mission. Do not ask questions." Captain Miller did not like the order, but he decided to follow it. He thought, "I am an American. I do what my country tells me." The president's car arrived at the airbase. Soldiers stood straight and saluted. President Traoré stepped out of the car. He looked serious and ready. He walked to Captain Miller and said, "Are we ready to fly?" Captain Miller looked at the president and said, "No, we are not ready. There is a problem with the plane." He lied. The plane was fine, but he wanted to delay the mission. Everyone was shocked. The American officers looked at each other. The Burkinabe soldiers whispered to each other. No one had ever refused the president before. President Traoré did not get angry. He looked at Captain Miller and asked, "What is the problem?" Captain Miller said, "There is a technical issue. We need to check the engine." He knew the local soldiers could not check the American plane without his help. The president called his advisors. They tried to find another pilot, but the Americans said only Captain Miller could fly the plane. The Burkinabe soldiers started to get angry. They felt something was wrong. The president stayed calm. He said, "We will wait and see." Hours passed. The sun was hot. The soldiers waited and watched. Captain Miller walked around the plane, pretending to check things. He talked to the American officers in private. He told them, "We have orders to delay. Do not let anyone near the plane." The American officers followed his orders. They blocked the Burkinabe soldiers from getting close. Suddenly, an old man walked forward. He was a griot, a storyteller. He said, "Let me tell you a story." Everyone listened. The griot said, "Long ago, a king wanted to cross a river. The boatman refused. He said the river spirits warned him, but the boatman was lying. He wanted to stop the king. The king waited, but the boatman never helped. In the end, the king found another way and crossed the river. The boatman was left alone." The soldiers thought about the story. The president listened carefully. The day was long. The president's advisors tried to talk to the Americans, but they refused to help. The Burkinabe soldiers grew more suspicious. They started to watch the Americans closely. Some soldiers checked the weather. The sky was clear. There was no reason to delay the flight. Then, a young Burkinabe mechanic named Issa came forward. He was quiet but smart. He asked Captain Miller if he could help check the plane. Captain Miller said no. Issa did not give up. He watched Captain Miller and saw that he was not really fixing anything. Issa went to the president and told him, "The plane is fine. The pilot is lying." President Traoré called a meeting with his top advisors. He said, "We must find out the truth. We cannot let anyone stop our mission." The president ordered his men to watch the Americans. He sent Issa to secretly check the plane at night. That night, Issa and two other mechanics sneaked to the plane. They checked everything. The engine was perfect. The fuel was full. There was no problem. Issa took pictures and brought them to the president. The president now knew for sure that Captain Miller was lying. The next morning, President Traoré called Captain Miller to his office. He showed him the pictures. He said, "You lied to me. Why are you stopping the flight?" Captain Miller was caught. He tried to make excuses, but the president did not believe him. The president said, "You are not in charge here. This is my country. You will not stop us." The president called his own pilots. He told them to prepare another plane. The American officers tried to stop them, but the Burkinabe soldiers stood in their way. There was shouting and pushing. The airbase was full of tension. The president's men protected him. the Americans realized they could not win. The president's pilots got the new plane ready. The soldiers helped load the supplies. The griot stood by the runway and sang a song for protection. The president thanked Issa for his courage. He said, "You are a true hero. You did not let fear stop you." The plane took off. The president waved to his people. The soldiers cheered. The Americans watched in silence. Captain Miller was sent back to his country. He was ashamed. He had tried to stop the mission, but he failed. The story of the American pilot who refused to fly the president spread across the country. People talked about it in markets, in homes, and around fires at night. Some said the Americans wanted to control everything. Others said the ancestors protected the president. But everyone agreed that the courage of the Burkinabe people saved the day. After the flight, President Traoré invited Issa and the other mechanics to his home. He thanked them in person. He said, "You showed true bravery. You did not let anyone stop you from doing what is right." The president gave them medals and told their story to everyone. The griot, the old storyteller, became famous for telling the story of the pilot and the president. He traveled from village to village, sharing the lesson with everyone. He said, "Courage is not always about fighting. Sometimes, courage is about standing up for the truth. Sometimes, it is about not letting others control your future." As time passed, the story became a legend. People added new details and made it their own. Some said the woman in white from the dream was a warning about people who pretend to help but really want to stop you. Others said she was a spirit who protected the president. But everyone agreed that the story was about the power of truth, the importance of standing up for yourself, and the danger of letting others control your destiny. Issa became a hero in his village. Children wanted to be like him. He taught them to be brave and to always look for the truth. The president continued to lead his country with wisdom and courage. He often told the story of the pilot who refused to fly, reminding his people that true strength comes from standing together and not letting outsiders decide your future. The airbase where it all happened became a special place. Soldiers who served there told the story to new recruits. They said, "This is the place where we stood up for our country." The story brought people together and gave them hope. It reminded them that even in the modern world, you must protect your own future. One day, a group of young students visited the airbase. They wanted to learn about the story. The soldiers showed them the runway and the hangar where the plane was kept. They told the students about the American pilot and the brave mechanic. The students asked many questions. One girl asked, "Why did the American pilot lie?" The soldier said, "Sometimes, people want to control what is not theirs. We must always be careful and protect our country." The students left the airbase with new respect for the story. They promised to share it with their families. That night, one of the students had a dream. In the dream, he saw the woman in white. She smiled at him and said, "Always stand up for what is right." The boy woke up feeling strong and proud. Years later, Issa became the chief mechanic at the airbase. He trained many young people. He told them, "Never let anyone tell you that you are not good enough. Always check the facts. Always stand up for your country." The president visited the airbase and thanked Issa again. He said, "You are a true son of Burkina Faso." The griot was still there, older but still strong. He welcomed new soldiers and told the story again, this time with even more details. He said, "The world is full of people who want to control you. The wise stand together. The brave speak the truth. The heart knows what is right." Issa listened and felt proud. The story of the American pilot and President Ibrahim Traoré became more than just a story. It became a lesson for everyone. It taught people to trust themselves, to respect their country, to listen to warnings, and to believe in the power of truth. It showed that courage is not just about fighting. Sometimes, courage is about standing up, waiting, and trusting your own people. If you ever face a hard choice, remember this story. Remember that sometimes, saying no to outsiders is the bravest thing you can do. Remember that wisdom can come from dreams, from friends, from old stories. Remember that the greatest heroes are not always the ones who fight, but the ones who stand up for what is right. This is the lesson of the ancestors, the lesson of the dream, and the lesson of the sky. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel for more amazing stories from Africa and around the world. Your support helps me share more stories with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with your friends. See you in the next story.